Hi guys, thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Today, excuse me. Today I'm going to be playing along with a hashtag that Simon from the Hermit's Cave has started, and it's called Workhorse Decks. Simon started this because obviously being a content creator, he's been asked over the years, what deck can we use for this, that and the other. So he was also asked about this, sorry, on our live the other day. So Simon's compiled this list of 7 prompts which come under different categories, what we use the different tarot decks for. So if you want to grab a pen and paper before I start, it makes it easier to jot down the 7 categories. So the 7 categories are shadow work, inner child, path working, personal growth and development, ride or die deck, hello there, and hello again. Obviously I'll explain as I go through, but if you want to check out Simon's video over at the Hermit's Cave, he explains it a lot better than me. So I've compiled 7 decks in front of me this morning, which was difficult because some of them I've recently acquired and some of them I've been using for a long time. I've got to keep my book open with my prompts inside because I'm old. So let's carry on then. So the categories are, what deck do I use for shadow work? And I'm not the sort of person who just brings out a deck like at Samhain, Halloween, whatever you want to call it, to do shadow work. I'm constantly doing shadow work. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm as deep as. So what I've always used and what I do use all the time is, these are my trusted soul cards. This, I don't know whether this might be 1 or 2. I've got them both separate. But these are the ones I use for deep work, when I kind of find out what's going on, when I need to face some things as well. And the reason why they are called soul cards is because they hit to the very core of the soul. So these are the most amazing decks. There's two, and there's a third one called Portals of Presence. That I have ever had the opportunity to work with and use. I've used these over the years when I've got some kind of pressing problems. I use them in journaling, and they really work because they're not like kind of like people. They're kind of like I don't know, like you can look at them as beings from another dimension or nature spirits or something like that. So this really makes me step outside of my comfort zone and question things. Also it's like kind of like a thread that's running through them, and something that's like kind of like maybe happened to me in a previous life. So this is my trusty shadow work deck. There's 2, as I said, so I'll just grab whichever one I can. They're both very similar. Some cards are kind of light, some cards are kind of dark. So yeah, it's absolutely incredible. This one works for me. I very rarely use it, or ever I've used it with clients, because it really is a personal deck. So that is my shadow work deck for delving deep and trying to find some answers, and maybe facing the hidden part of myself that I wouldn't normally do. So right, okay then, my inner child. Now this was a difficult one because I didn't want to pick like kind of a too overly whimsical one, just for the sake of it. So what I've done is I've picked a deck that has memories for me attached to it as a child, and this is the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. It's whimsical, and it reminds me, because it's Mermaid Tarot, it's all very watery. I spent the majority of my childhood by the seaside, and I actually ended up moving there in my late 30s, and this to me evokes many memories of my childhood, spending time with my mum and dad and my friends, by the seaside. So this I've recently acquired, but like, I mean, I know it's a few years old, but like, it kind of, I don't know, it gives me that kind of like memory from when I was little, and they're all good memories as well. My friend's elder brother used to have a speedboat. He used to take me out on it. Don't even go there. I was absolutely terrified. But yeah, it's kind of like very watery, and so yeah, I love this deck so much. And it is perfect for me to kind of like work with for inner child work. Okay then, so pathworking. A lot of people ask what pathworking is, and basically what I can explain as pathworking is going into the image of the card and imagine you are part of the scene. So it's like kind of meditation work, it's kind of focusing, and it's kind of like trying to find like an answer. Well, not so much an answer, just experiencing the card, you know, the visuals of the card, the figures if there are any in the card, and maybe having some kind of dialogue with the figures in the card. And the deck I find perfect for this is Tarot of the Enchanted Forest. I absolutely love fairy tales and myths, and this is just incredibly beautiful. There is so much detail in these cards, and you can actually lose yourself very easily in the artwork. I've worked with this deck now for a few years, and I've had some great visualizations from, you know, kind of entering the card and meeting the characters, and maybe like, you know, kind of joining in with whatever they're doing. This, however, is one of my favorite decks as well from Llewellyn, and it's just incredibly beautiful. I've got a little framed print by the artist that my friend bought me for my 50th birthday, and it's just beautiful. And I think that the countryside is all UK as well. It's just very fairy tale and very mythology, and I just love it, and the guidebook's lovely as well to go with it. So that is my deck for pathworking, and it works incredibly well for me. Now, the next deck I've got is for personal growth and development, and this is the deck I kind of always pull for when I want a bit of a smack in the face or some honest, direct answers that kind of I'd ignore on surface level. So this is my incredibly beautiful El Goliath Tarot deck by El Goliath. It's just raw and honest, and there's such a depth to it that I've never experienced in a tarot deck before. It's all animal based, there's no people in it. El Goliath's artwork is incredible. He's an incredible artist, and I think having a deck like this, because it's kind of like animalistic, it kind of makes me see things in another way that I wouldn't normally see. As I said before, on the surface level, it's very deep, and this deck actually was specifically designed for shadow work. I don't use it for that, I use it for personal growth and development, but obviously you can use any deck whichever way you see fit. So this is incredible. As I said, it's highly detailed, it's black and white artwork, and it is absolutely beautiful as well. So that is the deck I use when I want some straight in your face answers. Okay, my ride or die deck, which I use for everything basically. Daily card pulls for myself, 3 card pulls for myself. It's always to hand, it's always in a little bag, either on my sacred space, in the living room, in the kitchen, wherever I am, it always tends to be there. And this is the Mary L Tarot. Words, I can't get the words out what I think about the artwork and the impact this deck has had on me since I've been using it. This is the 2nd edition borderless. I have got the first, which I've worked with for a few years now. But this is the one I reach for. It's smaller in size as well, and it's incredibly aesthetically beautiful. There's so much depth to it, and the guidebook is absolutely phenomenal. So this is my Ride or Die deck that I could never not imagine having in my tarot collection, and this is also one of the top 3 decks that I have ever owned and I can never part with. So this is my Ride or Die deck, and this I use for everything. Now we've got a lovely, sorry I've got a cough, a lovely category now, 2 last little categories, last little prompts, and one is called Hello There, and that's like a new deck you've particularly bonded with, you're working with, and this one I'm working with because it makes me think outside the box. It's kind of Rider-Waite test based, and then there's some cards which are nothing like Rider-Waite, and I absolutely adore it. And this is the Moon Power Tarot by Charlie Quintero, and this is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot leave it alone. It's the images, the minimalistic approach. It's like set in another world, and I absolutely adore it. So this is one now I've been working with for over a week on a daily basis, and it's kind of left me scratching my head at some point, and then I think, oh my god, that is so, I did a reading with it for myself, and it just makes me think outside the box, and I love it so much. So this will become an absolute firm favourite of mine. So this is the Moon Power Tarot. Okay, on to my last category now, which is the Hello Again, which is a former deck that you used to use or you've had for many years and you're revisiting again. And what a perfect deck to end with, because this one I actually found, I've got a copy of this, but this one I actually found in Glastonbury on Saturday when I went for the day, and it was part of a coven which had obviously disbanded for whatever reason, and the priestess of the coven was selling off coven items, and she actually had a copy of the Cosmic Tarot. The Cosmic Tarot I have had for many years. I used to use it all the time. I think it's published by A.G. Muller, or yeah, maybe. And it is incredibly lovely. It's affectionately known as the Hollywood deck as well, because some people are very like this. You can spot Clark Gable and other people in here as well, Isabella Rossellini. So yeah, it is super cool. And this is the former deck that's being used as well. And the reason why it has this kind of specialness to me is because I used to use it predominantly in the 90s all the time, and I've recently acquired it again, and it just, yeah, it's just a super cool deck, and I absolutely love it. And so that is my Hello Again deck. So I hope you like my choices, and please feel free to join in. Use the hashtag workhorse decks and tag Simon from the Hermit's Cave in. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I could muse on for a lot longer, but time limiting. And I'll be back again tomorrow with a couple of deck reviews. And yeah, so have a lovely day, guys, and keep safe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.